what does it mean to truly love God? Is it enough to say we love Him, or is there more to it? In the Gospel of John, Jesus gives us a clear and profound answer. In John 14 verse 15, He says, "If you love me, keep my commands." These words are simple but carry deep meaning. Jesus is not just asking us to love Him in words but to show our love through our actions. To obey God's commands is a reflection of our love for Him, a love that is active, not passive. But why is obedience so important? The Catholic Church teaches that God's commandments are not just rules to follow, they are signs of His love for us. In the 10 Commandments, for example, God shows us how to live in harmony with Him and with each other. These commandments guide us to live lives of justice, mercy, and peace. When we obey them, we are not only honoring God but also fostering a world where His love can flourish. Jesus' call to obedience is rooted in the very heart of His message. In John 14 verse 15, He does not simply tell us to obey out of duty, but to obey out of love. His command is not burdensome, it is a path to freedom. In 1 John 5 verse 3, we read, "In fact, this is love for God, to keep His commands. And His commands are not burdensome." Obedience, then, is not a heavy weight but a joyful response to the love God has shown us. When we obey God's commands, we are also aligning our will with His. It is through obedience that we begin to reflect His image more clearly in our lives. God's commands are meant to protect us, to guide us, and to bring us closer to Him. Just as a child trusts a loving parent to guide them, we, too, must trust that God's commands are for our good. They lead us to life in abundance, the life Jesus came to give us. Obedience to God is not always easy, especially in a world that often rejects His teachings. Yet, Jesus calls us to be faithful, even when it's hard. In Matthew 7 verses 13 to 14, Jesus reminds us that the path to eternal life is narrow, and few find it. But through obedience, we find that narrow path, and it leads to the peace and joy that only God can give. Jesus also shows us the ultimate example of obedience. In His life, He perfectly obeyed the will of the Father, even to the point of death on the cross. In Philippians 2 verse 8, St. Paul tells us that Jesus humbled Himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. This ultimate act of obedience opened the door to salvation for all of us. As followers of Christ, we are called to imitate His obedience. This means that, in every aspect of our lives, we must choose to follow God's commands, even when it's difficult or when the world tells us to do otherwise. This is the essence of discipleship, living in a way that honors God in everything we do. In conclusion, Jesus' call to obey His commands is a call to love Him fully. When we obey His commands, we show our love for Him, and we open our hearts to receive His grace. Let us reflect on these words of Jesus and ask ourselves, am I truly living out my love for God through obedience? May we, with the help of His grace, strive to follow His commands each day, drawing closer to Him and becoming the people He has created us to be.